do you care about views or do you care about money? I had 3 videos that had over 1 million views, multiple videos that had over 500,000 views, and my business bank account had like $60 in it.
You grew over 200,000 followers on Instagram in under 2 years, 18 months or so.
And I dialed in on, this is the person I'm speaking to. And that's when I started making money from it. I think Instagram has the best of both worlds between TikTok and YouTube. You can grow quick enough on it, you can monetize with it, but it also has some longevity to it. Short form is just the gateway child. I can give your audience 90 pieces of content right now.
What are the mistakes that entrepreneurs are making on Instagram?
There are 2 main mistakes that I see on Instagram specifically. One is...
So Jaden Young, who I would say is killing it on Instagram.
Thank you.
You would be an Instagram coach.
Technically, yeah.
Technically.
Yeah.
And generally.
Yeah.
And hypothetically too.
Yeah, the whole spiel. The whole spiel. I like Instagram.
Yeah.
Instagram for me is the perfect middle child.
Yeah. And why do you like Instagram?
I think, this is my personal belief.
Yeah.
I think in terms of platforms, YouTube is the grandfather. Like YouTube will always be the end game. I think Instagram has the best of both worlds between TikTok and YouTube.
Okay.
I think you can grow quick enough on it, you can monetize with it, but it also has some longevity to it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, for me, TikTok is like a little quick, good, grow. Longevity wise, it may not be there. And then YouTube will,
Right.
Yeah.
No, I'm the grandfather.
Yeah, literally.
No, okay. So, and I just, for whatever it's worth, you say you grew over 200,000 followers on Instagram in under 2 years, 18 months or so.
Yeah.
And so I want to help entrepreneurs and business owners, which entrepreneurs are business owners. Yeah. Grow this year. And I think we should start about, if we're going to talk about how to grow, let's first talk about how not to grow. Like, what are the mistakes that entrepreneurs are making on Instagram?
Entrepreneurs, there are 2 main mistakes that I see on Instagram specifically. One is you want to stand out, but you do the same thing that everybody else does. In terms of everybody has the same look of the same setup, and then everybody's scripts sound the same because they got it from this one person and they went viral for it. And so everybody kind of tries to make their own thing with it. And it's fine, it's dope. It gets you somewhere. But I like to speak in terms of, okay, do you care about views or do you care about money? Because a lot of the times you'll see the complete opposite. You can have a video, and I tell people this all the time, no joke. I had 3 videos that had over 1 million views, multiple videos that had over 500,000 views, and my business bank account had like $60 in it. And so for me, I literally dialed in on messaging, I dialed in on visuals, and I dialed in on, this is the person I'm speaking to. And that's when I started making money from it. So in terms of what they are doing wrong, one, they're copying people that they want to be different from, which is so crazy to me. But number 2, a lot of the times they think that talking heads, only doing talking heads is the way to go. Now, if you have a podcast, makes complete sense. If you are an entrepreneur with a unique perspective, with unique lessons, experience, you need to be able to showcase that through visuals. And visuals on Instagram will win over anything else. So those 2, in terms of, because that's kind of like wrong, but also fixes, like that. That's where I would start bare minimum.
Okay, and can you unpack visuals?
Visuals, I'll start with props. I'm a prop kind of guy.
Okay.
So if I'm reviewing a microphone, I'm going to actually try to have the microphone in the shot instead of having my editor pop up a little PNG of it. And that's number 1, visuals. Number 2, crazy. A lot of people overlook it, but the title hook on Instagram is essential. The title hook on Instagram is literally the title of a YouTube video. That's it. And so it could be the make or break between somebody watching your video or not.
And when you say title hook, I think I call that same thing a visual headline.
Yes.
So it's the thing, if somebody's phone was on mute, if somebody's phone was not turned up, and your video showed up, the first 3 to 5 seconds, it has that visual hook, or what you call a title.
Yeah, I just call it a title hook because technically that's what it is.
Yeah.
Right. And so
hypothetically, that's what it is.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. Yeah.
It's funny to me because I say this so much, and I will say this till I die. I found 3 articles that told me this, and I just remembered it forever. For short form, over 70% of the people that are watch with the sound off.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me and all my clients, I'm like, listen, if we can't tell a story visually, if they don't in the first 10 seconds know what this video is about without the sound, we're doing something wrong. And I found, because I do a lot of testing on my page a lot, so people
are you testing the testing feature?
I don't like it.
Okay, cool. But we'll get into it maybe.
Okay. But a lot of the times it's like every time I either have a crappy title hook or what'd you call it? Something
visual
headline. Visual headline. If my visual headline sucks, the video performs like crap.
Mm-hmm.
However, let's say I have a good visual headline, and then I can have stories, have props in the first 10 seconds. You don't need throughout the whole video. We talk in first 10 to 15 seconds because that's technically majority of the video anyways. If we can have that locked in, the video is good. Because usually for short form, people don't scroll away from short form videos at the end. They usually scroll away at the beginning.
Mm.
And so if we can just get them for a quarter to half of the video, we kind of got them for the rest, for the most part.
Yep.
So that's my belief in terms of visuals. Like and I tell people this all the time. I'm like, listen, you don't follow Hormozy because he's pretty. He has good information. He shares it well from a visual and an audio standpoint. When he's writing on the flipboards, that's the visual storytelling.
Yeah.
So I could watch 12 Hormozy videos back to back and know exactly what's going on and actually get the value from it that I need to.
Without the audio being
without the audio.
Yeah, which is powerful.
Yeah.
So good. And I think that's just something to consider, to like what are you using to catch people's attention?
Mm-hmm.
And here's what I'm finding from even people that I'm helping and coaching is that visual headline or title hook piece, that is a skill to decide on it. So it's like, yes, this piece of content is about, I want a good example. Like, what's a good example? Let's just say you're a financial advisor,
mm-hmm.
and you're talking about how you could, create $1,000 a month in passive income.
Mm-hmm. Let's
just say that's what the piece of content is that you're breaking down. How would you come up with a title hook for that?
I like reverse. So I'm a big reverse engineer kind of guy. So it's like, if I'm a financial advisor and I'm making people an extra $1,000?
Yeah.
I would just flip it and act as if they're losing the $1,000 if they don't watch this video.
Okay. That's really good.
I would go, if you don't watch this video, you'll lose $1,000. That's what I would put.
Yeah.
I always like to go to inverse. And it works so well. Negativity. I'm not a big negativity kind of guy online.
Yeah. I think, yeah.
Yeah.
But we're talking about pain.
Yeah.
And revealing pain isn't negative.
That people get that messed up.
Yeah.
So they'll be like, oh, like if a lot of weight loss people, they'll be like, yo, you'll be fat forever if you don't do this. That's amazing. Like people will watch and click on that. That's beautiful. However, long term for me, negativity won't support my brand. Pain will.
Yeah.
And so that's the way that I like to view it.
Yeah. It's just a marketing principle. I had an interview with a friend, David Simons, and he said, when you address pain, you're talking about the here and now.
Mm-hmm.
If you're addressing pleasure, you're talking about then.
Yeah.
So if the title hook said how to make an extra $1,000 a month, it's like a then. When people read that, it's like then, or it takes work, but like you'll lose. You really just made that clip and just by a title hook more relevant for right now.
And so for me, that brings up in my brain, because my brain kind of works in spurts. For me, that brings up what I always like to help people with when it's like, though, you need to connect everything that you say to your audience. A lot of times we say things to our audience, hey, entrepreneurs, this, that, and third, hey, entrepreneur, like that, but they don't feel that. They don't feel like that's a part of their world. They don't feel like that's a part of their life. However, if you're like, listen, let's say I have somebody that I'm working with now. She's a feng shui consultant. So like she like your setup right now. But I'm like, listen.
Dang, this is feng shui. Let's go.
Yeah, apparently. I think so. I could be. I'm sorry if she's watching this. Yeah. But for her, I'm like, listen, nobody cares about feng shui. They only care the fact that they don't get to spend time with their kids because their brain is clogged. They don't care about none of your mumbo jumbo, unfortunately, like, because we love what we say, but nobody cares about that.
Yeah.
So I always go the connection first, and then I allow my 1 to 2 cents to be just a vehicle of that.
Yeah.
That's how I like to think of it.
Yeah, it's good. Dude, it's great that you say that, because I find so much gold online because I understand, I think I more than ever understand what I can do with the right information. Mm-hmm. And so I could see a video even by a person. Most of the time, experts on YouTube aren't great at making YouTube videos.
Oh no.
But I know that they're an expert. They might have written a best-selling book or what have you. And I'll see a piece of content. I'm like, dang, this is literal gold. No one's going to know it because it's not correctly packaged. But a lot of the times that's because when you're in when you're in the clouds and you're just talking to people in the clouds, that's kind of why it's not resonating.
Yeah.
And so, like, this week is like Funnel Hacking Live. You got VSL, funnels, you got automation, you got all this stuff. And literally there's a guy I follow and he's a friend. I'm not going to name names. And I see him attempting YouTube. Shout out to the try.
Right.
Like, I love it.
Trying is good.
But literally his titles and his things are all like how to create a VSL using a funnel. Like, and I'm just like, bro, nobody knows those words. Like, that's industry lingo. You have to bring it down to the third grade level.
Yeah. I try to, and people mistake that for, this is what I get all the time. You let me know if you get this as well. I'm like, listen, this needs to be simplified to a T. They're like, oh, but if I simplify, I don't want to talk to them like they're stupid. I'm like, no, you're actually going to be helping them if you continue to simplify things, because people don't care about your lingo. But for me, that just makes me think of most real authorities, most successful entrepreneurs. They don't know how to articulate what they do in their industry into content because they're used to having in-person meetings with 8-figure people. And so they can say these words and everybody knows exactly what they're talking about. And P&Ls, what LTV and EBITDA. I still to this day don't know what EBITDA is. I kind of know what LTV is, but for a lot of people, that's kind of a skill thing though.
Yeah.
Learning how to really just articulate yourself so therefore any and everybody can understand it.
Right. And I think the person that does that work is the person that sees that result. And like, in the context of a room, if I'm speaking to people that are in my industry and they understand what I'm saying because they're in my industry, but I'm trying to get people to this room, like I need to reach them from where they're at and then slowly get them into a room or whatever, virtual room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think here's what I see. I see a lot of authorities. They're good authorities, like they're real life authorities. I'm talking people know, yo, what's up? You help me do this. Like people know you in real life for doing a thing, but it just doesn't convert over to content. And then, however, I see the inverse of people who try to use content to become authorities. And those people usually win over the real authorities just because they know how to simplify it, because technically they know it. That I see that all the time.
Yeah.
And it irritates me because I'm like, listen, just no. Just simplify this. I'm like, if you have to, put your script in ChatGPT and tell it to rewrite it in 4th grade. Like, do that.
Yeah.
Because I hate seeing, I don't want to call it wasted talent, but that's what it becomes. It becomes wasted talent.
No, sure. And then it's the cool thing about Instagram and social media. And it's also the bad thing about it. And that is, just because somebody has a large audience doesn't mean they're actually good at the thing they sell or they fulfill or whatever. On the contrary, like just because somebody doesn't know how to grow doesn't mean they are a wealth of information and they're probably somebody you should pay or what have you, So, but that, I think all that comes down to, looking at the receipts and getting a vibe. Hence why I love long form, because it's harder to fake that stuff with long form than it is with short form.
That's why I tell people to go live.
It's good.
Because for me, a lot of people, YouTube is a beast. That is a whole different skill set. Color theory, thumbnail, that's its own thing. So for me, I'm like, listen, short form is just the gateway child.
Yeah.
Use this, so therefore you can use this in the future. And a lot of people, I'm like, okay, cool. You know, the 7-11 rule, 7 hours, 11 touch points. I believe that's what it is. I'm like, okay, cool. Well, it's going to be hard to achieve that through short form. Your videos are 30 seconds, 60 seconds. Go live every week. Go live a couple times a day. That's your long form.
That's good.
And so therefore people can actually get a vibe, test you, see, notice, oh snap, Omar kind of actually knows his stuff. That's dope. And so now every time you pop up, it becomes just reassurance of undeniable truth, undeniable value. So that's how I view it, Gene.
It's really good. Dude, so I'm getting, just some things I want to pull out and repeat. So the first thing you're saying is, you know, really consider that visual hook of the content you're making.
For sure.
And have something, like if you can have something that can grab attention other than your face, then do that. Whether it's, you know, holding a microphone.
I do that one.
Yeah. Or whatever. I even found like really big face is a scroll stopper.
Oh yeah.
Like when your face is like the whole actual frame, it makes you like, you know, what is he saying? Why is he so dang close?
That's why I like when people take podcast clips the correct way.
Mm-hmm.
For example, you obviously do it the correct way. And a lot of the times when you have a super big face or when you take from long form, you're automatically bigger in general. So for me, if I was to record a video in vertical, I'm automatically small. Mm-hmm. So I may be a third, if not half the screen.
Yep.
Yo, long form clips, you 75% of this joint.
Yeah.
And it's dope because people now see you, and it's almost a psychological thing. Because like, yo, if I just seen 3 videos of people who are small and you come up big, obviously scroll stopper, but it's like they think of you as an authority instantly because you're bigger. So it's like it's like a dope thing.
Yeah. Okay. So visual headline hook, just consider it. Mm-hmm. Don't use industry jargon.
Yes.
And how do you know you're using industry jargon? By
if you feel comfortable talking. That's how I like to gauge it. A lot of us, especially for people who have 10 years of experience.
Right.
I'm like, how comfortable do you feel saying this? They're like, oh, I love this. Good. Let's simplify it. Every time we simplify it more, they feel less and less comfortable saying it.
Yes.
Because it feels out of body for them. They're used to being up here. Now they have to reach down and grab their audience and pull them up with them.
Yep.
And it's dope.
Yeah. So simplify. And there's something about repetition, like that you can post the same type of content, the same actual content, you know, even if you say it different ways or test different hooks, which is just cool. Because I this being for entrepreneurs, mm-hmm. I want people to know that like you're getting a good ROI on your time with the stuff that we're sharing on this podcast.
100%.
You know, and so if you are just using your phone and you had the thought and you outlined the thought or you scripted the thing and you boiled it down to its simplest form, just delivering that is, you know, could be worth your time of creating that content.
I can give your audience 90 pieces of content right now. First, we need 30 ideas. We're going to break it up into 10. 10 ideas are for the fresh meat audience. People who are new to you, people who are new to your industry, people who just discovered Omar mm-hmm. or just discovered me or whoever is out there watching. That's the first 10. The next 10 is nurturing, implementation. What can you give them to actually implement today? So therefore, after 24 hours of watching your piece of content, they can actually do something for themselves.
Yep.
And then the last one is give them a little taste of what it's like to work with you. How do you get certain results? For me, I have this series where I say, yo, I took this video and this video. This one got X amount of views. This one got X amount. And this is how many sales it generated me. Here's what changed between both of them. Mm-hmm. Give them a little taste of what it's like working with you. So that's 30 right there. Where the 90 comes from is you want to execute on every idea 3 different ways.
That's really good.
So the first way, talking head, just get the information out. The second way is a green screen. You want to find articles, whatever you can to get your point across. This is where you can go visual heavy. And then the last 30 to make the 90, I would recommend you find an authority that is in your space that has already proven your concept. And then you stitch or react to their video. Mm-hmm. And you talk about how they've been using what you like, a principle that you share all the time.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
That's really good. That's a really great frame of mind because it makes it digestible, accessible. You said something I think there's a lot of things you've said that you just perused through, and I realize that there's so much to unpack there. But you said, I have this series. Mm-hmm. So like in short form content, you have a series, you have a way you show up consistently as a content format. And so by you creating a series for yourself, what you're doing is you're creating something that you can just plug and play different information.
Literally.
Yeah.
That's it. And then it also just helps with, I still to this day don't know if this is a real word, but I call it bingeability. Like people just need to, for short form as well, because for YouTube, I can sit with Omar for an hour, 2 hours at a time. We good, we lit.
Mm-hmm.
Short form, I need you to be able to watch 5 videos in a row without getting tired. I can't do that if my content isn't binge worthy.
Mm-hmm.
Easy way to make it binge worthy is if it's series based. And so that in and of itself just creates a Netflix effect of, oh snap, I just watched 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 videos. And now I'm low key, I'm kind of feeling this guy.
Yep.
So now they go to the link in bio, see what you have going on, bare minimum. Or they send you a DM, yo, I just tried your thing, this happened. Or yo, what about this? Now they're asking questions in the comment section that you can just pull from more content from.
Yep.
Or depending on what stage you are in your business, you could just try to go in and close them just from that.
Yeah.
And so it all just stacks on top of each other one by one by one.
It's really cool. And I know that like when somebody binges your content, they now the algorithm is just whatever you upload or even older content is just going to come their way.
It's up.
And I know, and that's part of why you want to be consistent. Like maybe right now you're like, okay, I got all these ideas from Omar and Jay. But the reality is like that could be one great goal is I want to create the opportunity for me to be bingeable.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's just like people have to get to that place and be bingeable means that the content's actually good. So you actually got to get good and you only get good by repetition.
Yeah.
And so like one of my favorite compliments I get is, Omar, I've been following you for a long time.
Yeah.
Which is, I know that is actually my upper hand because you can't have that compliment any other way other than showing up for a long period of time consistently.
I get a lot of people they've been like, yo, Jaden, I've been consistent. I'm like, dope. How long have you been posting? Like, yo, I've been posting for the last 3 months. How many times have you posted in the last 3 months? Yo, I posted a solid 15 times. Get back to the drawing board. You haven't been consistent. And so for me, and I want to play devil's advocate as well, because if we just lay out if we lay out a month and you posted 3 times a week, like consistently, like that's technically by definition consistent.
Right.
But when it comes to short form, you cannot give your audience an opportunity to watch anybody else. Literally. Like there have been times where, even though by technicality, I'm 3 months ahead on my content, there have been times where I'm like, I don't want to post this. But then I'm thinking, well, if they don't get this information from me, they're going to get a half version from somebody else. Mm. And since I didn't deliver them the whole version, they think that half version is whole. And so they're going to start to lean more towards that person. And that could have been potentially a sell for me.
Sure.
And so it's, again, for me, it's just a stacking on top of each other.
Yeah. So you don't try to overthink what's going out there.
I don't.
I would say I do. And and that's just because of my YouTube brain.
Yeah. YouTube, you have to.
Sure. But like with each podcast, I'll get, we'll have 9 to 15 clips. Mm-hmm. I might post 4 of them, and then that's it. Move on. No one will ever see those other 10.
The reason, here's why I think.
Let me let you know my fear though.
Okay.
And I know this 100% is a limiting belief. And it's that every piece of content sells the person to watch the next piece of content.
Yes.
And there's something in me, AKA a limiting belief, that tells me if you post a mediocre clip that I deem mediocre, being like the guy who actually knows content, if I feel like this is mediocre and it's not strong and I post it, I could potentially turn somebody to be like, okay, what the heck did you just... and then I lost them for the next one.
That brain, that's a YouTube brain.
Yeah.
Short form, it doesn't matter, because Gary Vee with millions of followers can post a video today and they get 5,000 views total. So only 5,000 of his millions of followers seen it. Mm-hmm. So they never got turned off in the first place to be able to, from the next one. So that's the first step with that one. The second step with that one is for you and any authority watching this. Any video you post will have impact if you pull from within. which these podcasts you pull within, your guests pull from within. And what I mean by that is every single entrepreneur has experience, lessons, frameworks, principles, and beliefs that they can pull from at any time. So regardless if we have the same content idea, if I articulate it from one of those things, I have the potential to draw you in because you can connect with those things.
Yeah.
For you, you're missing out because those are just connection points. So it's like not all my videos perform well for me. Like 10,000 is a low view count for me. And so a lot of the times those are videos that generate me sales, and I get people to DM me and they're like, yo, this video here, bro, it was up. And in my brain, I'm like, yo, I hate that piece of content. But I posted it anyways. And every time I have a brain where I'm like, I'm not going to post this. And I end up posting it. I make that much more money.
Yeah. That's solid. Yeah, fair. Yeah. What do you use to edit?
I don't edit anymore. I'm about a crazy guy.
How long did you edit before you hired an editor?
6 months. No, I'm sorry. That is a complete lie. From taking my content seriously. So in the last 2 years, 6 months for me to have my editor that was already working with my clients, for me to let him edit one piece of content.
Okay.
And then I was like, okay. And then I try to edit, try to compare in my brain because I'm kind of competitive. So I'm like, can I beat my editor? And so for me to have him fully take over 8 months.
Okay.
I would not recommend that to any entrepreneur. Because I would, from a content team standpoint, you let me know what you think. I think editor is one of the first people you should hire.
Sure.
If not the first.
Yeah.
Because I break it down into an hourly thing. Okay, well, seven days a week. Cool. Editing isn't a quick task unless you are that articulate, which most beginners aren't.
Right.
And so you might have to do some chopping. Let's call it an hour. 7 hours a week that you could for sure be praying, spending time with your kids, thinking about the vision for your business. That is 7 hours. That's a shift for somebody. That's a whole work shift for somebody. So I think of it that way. And then I just think of it from a lot of entrepreneurs, and there's, when I found this out, I was like, oh my God, it makes so much sense. A lot of entrepreneurs will be reluctant to record content because they know in the back of their mind they have to edit it. Mm-hmm. And so when they may even have the time to record 10 pieces of content, but they won't. They might record 2 or 3 because in their brain, they're like, yo, I feel like I can edit these 2 or 3. Mm-hmm. But with the editor, it's up. Yo, I can record 30 pieces of content. I just send them all over. I know even if I just get them in a drip, like they gonna come to me. I don't have to worry about them anymore.
That's good. Hey, department fam, wanted to take a brief break from this conversation. I hope you're enjoying it as much as I am. And the first thing I wanted to talk about is that, did you know that 75% of the people that watch this podcast on YouTube actually aren't subscribed, which is a high chance that you're not subscribed. So number one, I wanna say thank you for listening or watching the podcast. And number two, if you can hit that subscribe button, that would be amazing. The second thing is, if you are an entrepreneur, content creator, or somebody looking to make money online, I want to encourage you to come to this online event called the Content to Cash Challenge. This is a special 5-day event that's going to give you access to the system I use in my business to make multiple 6 figures with my content. If you've been desiring to either get your business and brand more exposure, grow a YouTube channel, whatever it is when it comes to video, I would encourage you to jump into the Content to Cash Challenge. We'll be sure to post the link to the challenge down in the show notes or the description. And I want to encourage you to jump into the VIP experience. This will give you access to a 1-hour Q&A call every day of the challenge. This will guarantee myself to answer a personalized question you may have. So I'll see you on the Content to Cash Challenge. Now let's jump back into the conversation. Yeah, dude, I think it's phenomenal. I do think you, like most, especially entrepreneurs, like hire that part out and you can go VA and it could be very inexpensive. Oh yeah. We have a full-time person, or he's full-time based on like how much we give him. Yeah. And it's like what, $700? $650 a month for just somebody who's going through my talks, my podcasts. And like at this point I have so much content. This is why on TikTok, I'm actually just going to dump, and I say dump, I'm just going to upload everything that he actually gives us. And then I will still bring my YouTube brain to my own personal Instagram. Is there anyone you follow or have followed that said they post too much? It's, you know.
That I think they post too much?
Yeah.
Gary V.
And do you unfollow him for that or mute him?
I've muted a lot of people in the past for posting too much.
Okay.
I think on Instagram, the best is 2 a day. Because then you can kind of break the 2 a days up into, okay, this one is for this specific type from my audience, and then this one is for this type.
Okay.
Hormozy does that. 1 a day is perfect. Well, 2 a day is the best by statistics. 1 a day for me is perfect. TikTok is a platform where I don't care how much you post. It doesn't matter to me because I didn't seen 70,000 other people's videos in the first place. But I have definitely muted and unfollowed some people on Instagram. Because it's like, yo, I just seen you freaking 3 times ago.
Yeah.
Like, please stop.
And it's probably just, that's the thing is it's either random or it's not complete or it caused you to work hard to understand or figure out.
That.
Like, yeah.
Every time if there's 2 people, both of them post 7 times a day. One of them can very much so articulate well. Every idea they have, I understand. They can visually show their idea, which a lot of people can't. I won't mute them. However, if I know for a fact this person just threw this up because they forgot to post yesterday, and now they're trying to run up the algorithm, I gotta mute you. Because content is an energy thing. Like, you can feel when someone cares through their content. Excuse me. You can feel when somebody actually knows what they're talking about through their content. You just feel it. And it's really an energy thing. That's how even people, before they get a good setup, I'm like, no, start with your phone, because trust and believe, if you can, the message will come across if it needs to. Yeah. And with the right systems.
Sure. It's good. Yeah. I mean, and the flip side is, if you're like, man, I don't want to have an editor right now, I would actually try to do it unedited and then use the features inside of the platform to just do the visual hook and the captions. Like,
sometimes that's hard for me to tell people.
Why?
Because a lot of people will do a bajillion takes for one video because they're trying to memorize what they want to say.
I feel like if you're trying to memorize it, then it's content you shouldn't make.
Oh, that's good.
But if it's something that doesn't require anything other than maybe memorizing the hook, because you know that that's important, then run it.
I think it's just a limiting belief for people, because I think I run into a lot of entrepreneurs, at least, that are like, yo, this has to be perfect. And I'm like, no, it doesn't. And so we'll lay out the hook, and then especially when I was doing coaching heavy, everybody was like, yo, Jaden, I just did a recording day. And I'm like, dope. How many videos did you get done? They're like, 4. I'm like, for a day? And then they're like, yeah, I had about 20 takes for this one. And so I think trying to memorize, now, if you're going off the dome, that's fine. Yeah, I agree with that. When it comes to an outline, I personally think don't try to be a movie star. At least take breaks and do minimal cuts. Because, minimal cuts won't take long. So that's what I think. But that's good. Sure. Yeah, if you're trying to, yeah.
I mean, it's just like you just helped somebody do something, and then you realize, like, where were they at before they did the thing? It's like, oh, I'm gonna take out my phone. I'm driving on the car. I got it on the phone clip. If you're somebody who is XYZ, I just actually literally, I'm leaving the office right now, and this person was in this situation. We got them in this situation, and now they're gonna be able to do this. What's the biggest thing? Here's the biggest thing we did, and then there's a piece of it.
That's good.
It actually happened,
and those convert.
Yeah.
A lot of people, they get stage fright though. Soon as the phone come out, soon as the camera come out, everything gone.
Yeah. What helps is talking about something but yes, regardless, it is a very intimidating thing for people starting out, and I never want to underestimate that intimidation.
100%.
Art said, yeah, it is. But the reality is, and the reason why you're even doing it is because you're supposed to, it's a non-negotiable if you want to be around. So
it's non-negotiable.
So the thing that's keeping you or making you feel intimidated and all those things, I would actually say those aren't necessarily good things. The only thing good about them is it's a resistance, because it means that there's a place for you to grow in as a communicator, as somebody who can create content and look into a camera and communicate to the camera. Nonetheless, you just can't replace it other than doing reps. But the best thing one could do is simply just talk about what you know about.
Yes.
I always like to say, make content only you can make.
That's, if I could fist bump you, I would.
I'll fist bump you.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. I tell people that all the time because that's the only content that you should be worried about right now. Mm-hmm. Why are you worried about what Sally Sue got going on? It doesn't matter. She doesn't have your audience.
Right.
And even though you're in the same, literally.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, yo, those 5 categories.
Yeah.
That's what you should be pulling.
Say those categories one more time.
Okay. We have beliefs, principles, lessons, frameworks, experience.
Boom. Yes.
If you're not pulling from any of those, something is wrong.
Yeah. It's really good. That's legit awesome. Okay. So we got people, now they're going to make videos, whether they batch shoot them and send them off to an editor. Do you use a scheduler app to upload, or do you just do it in real time?
For my personal content, I do it in real time.
Yeah.
Depending on how far ahead it is.
Okay.
Sometimes, I have a campaign coming up and I'm like, okay, I just got to make this. And now I'll use like a schedule, like later. We use later in my company.
Later.
Yeah.
Have you found that third-party apps like mess with the performance?
I found some.
Okay.
I'll talk about the ones because I don't want to give a company a bad rep.
I mean, I feel like you could schedule reels on Facebook.
Yeah.
And then you could also schedule reels in app.
For a lot of people, there's a lot of friction doing it in app. At least for Instagram. I hate scheduling in Instagram. Okay. Hate it. Absolutely hate it. So Zuck, cut it up, fix it. Yeah. Because like you have to go through settings, and then if you have something selected, for example, if you have cross-share to Facebook selected and you try to schedule through Instagram, you can't do it.
Yep.
You have to cut that off.
Collaborative.
Exactly.
You can't do it.
It's weird. So scheduling apps, that's when those come into play for us. It's like, well, least path of friction. We can get this up. We can see the analytics, everything. So that's why I like them. But there are a couple platforms that we've experimented with in the past that do kind of hurt it.
Okay.
And then others that don't. And how I know that, because I'm a data kind of guy, how I know that is because we posted same like environment, same everything, same post, same everything, scheduler, no scheduler, or this scheduler versus this scheduler. And there's been a couple over time as well, because we don't just do it one time, obviously. But over time, some do hurt. We use Later and Metricool in our company.
Why do you use 2 different ones?
Well, we just switched from Metricool to Later. Okay. Because I like the analytics in Later.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. And
then, great, I love it. And how are you doing carousel? Are you using carousels?
I do carousels like once a month.
Okay.
For me, it's because, and I don't want to put that out into the universe. In the past Jaden didn't really think of himself as the best writer, because carousels for me is a skill. That is a genuine skill. There's a guy, Mahdi Woodard. I feel like I just butchered his name, but it makes the best carousels I've ever seen on Instagram, ever. But I look at it and it's like, yo, I could replicate this, but this would take a lot of brain power for me.
Okay.
So speaking for me is way easier.
I mean, I think video, like copy is powerful because like a person's internalizing when they're reading. They're getting your voice and your voice and their voice while they're reading it. And that's why I even think, like, even when it comes to like the Bible, like God chose the word, and when you read it, you're reading God's voice, but then your voice is also processing it and all that stuff.
That's good. Yeah.
However, video, there's nothing
tops it.
Seeing your your face and your emotion and your inflections and your and all that stuff. So
yeah, for me, nothing tops video.
Yeah,
at all, like by far. So I'm like, yo, if I had a choice between, that's why my girlfriend gets mad at me because I'm like, listen, I would rather watch the movie than read the book about it. Mm-hmm. I don't care for the book. I like to read. I try to read the Bible, read books, educate myself, get better at communicating. But however, I would much rather watch the Harry Potter movie than read this fat book.
Yeah.
It just doesn't translate the same for me.
Okay, so we're posting once a day for perfect, 2 a day for
beyond perfect.
Beyond perfect. Or you said it was you had a word for it.
Statistically.
No, you said if you post 2 times a day, it's the best. Yeah, you said 2 a day is best, 1 a day is perfect.
Perfect. Yeah.
And then so we're like, let's just go there. Okay, let's like let that be a goal, and I'll give you Monday through Friday. Like post once a day, Monday through Friday, or twice a day, Monday through Friday on Instagram. How are we getting people from the content itself into a next step?
You could do it a couple ways. One, you could go the route most people go with ManyChat. Everybody knows, likes and loves ManyChat.
I would disagree with you in that not everybody knows, and most people aren't doing it. But
wow, really?
Yeah, I mean, I know in your world they are. But
Okay,
there are people listening. I'd be like, you just said many what? Like you said monkey chat. You said, did you say what did you say? So yeah, ManyChat.
Yeah, ManyChat. MANY chat.
Yes. Which if you ever see somebody saying comment the word whatever, they have something connected to their Instagram account. This is me, Omar, 3rd grade level. There's something connected to their Instagram account, another website, and you tell this website, hey, when somebody does this, send them this. So I actually we just did a speaking engagement, like literally at 9 a.m. today.
Nobody knew ManyChat?
No, not even that. I'm just like, before I got on stage, I said to myself, I was like, shoot, it'd be really cool if I asked people to DM me this word. And I was just showing like a little cheap tripod I had for my phone. I was like, hey, by the way, if you want it, just find my Instagram. Everybody, if you pull up Omar, people open up them, and then DM me the word stand. And I just did it while I was standing there before I was getting introduced. I created this automation, and then everybody got it. And then at the end of my talk, I said, by the way, if you guys want 5 days of coaching with me, just comment or DM me the word cash, and I'll send you an invitation to.
That's good.
But this is cool because all I had to do was tell people to do something, and then something happened when they responded. And so when you're saying, how do we get somebody from Instagram, the content you're creating, into the next step? You do that through a call to action or an invitation of having somebody comment a word. And then you set up something in the back end to get people whatever you need to get them by. Yeah. Hey, question for you. Are you somebody who is looking to start creating content, or maybe you currently create content, but all the gear and the tech just overwhelms you? If so, I wanted to let you know about our sponsor for this podcast, Ulanzi. Whether you're creating content with your smartphone, a camera, or just trying to take your Zoom calls to the next level, Ulanzi has everything you need to make your setup look and sound professional. I've been using their gear myself, and honestly, it's been a complete game changer for my content. You can check them out at ulanzi.com/Omar, and we've got some amazing picks for you. And also, if you look at the description below, we have a special promo code that will give you 12% off your entire order. Big thanks to Ulanzi for sponsoring this episode and helping us create.
And so it's so many different ways. ManyChat is one of them. That's one of, in my world, one of the most popular ones. And so I'll say this: please don't use ManyChat on every post. I'll look dead into the camera. For the love of God, please don't use ManyChat for every post. It will dilute the audience and it will take away the significance of it. Most people do it on every post because it's like engagement hacking. Because if you got 20,000 people commenting down below this, that, and the third, the algorithm isn't like, oh, this is ManyChat. They're like, oh, comments, love it. And so then they feed it to more people. And so a lot of the times it can hurt when you do it in every post, because there have been times where I'll see a decent piece of content. I'm like, I wonder what people are saying about this. And I go to the comments and it's nothing but gear. And I'm like, oh, bro, come on. So that's one, but it does work really
it's
well.
Awesome. Yeah, I think of it like seasons. Like there are seasons where everything I post for the next 2 weeks will have some sort of comment the word. And sometimes I put that at the top of the captions. Sometimes I put it at the bottom, and just because I don't like to. But if you're doing something and you want people to know about it, people know about it.
That's the quickest way. ManyChat is the quickest way. You could say link in bio. I'm not the biggest fan of saying link in bio, because imagine somebody's on your Explore feed, on their Explore feed. You come up, you give them the call to action to go to the link in bio. Cool beans. Now they have to swipe over to your profile, or at least click your bubble. Read through your bio first, because they're not just going to skip your bio to click the link in bio. They're going to read your bio. Click it, and it's so much rather than, you're already on this post. 9 times out of 10, you're already in the comment section in general because you're nosy. You want to see what other people are talking about. I do this myself. And then all you hear in the background is comment down below this. You already there. Path of least friction. I crack myself up. So that's that.
And I think that's good. The principle is anytime you're asking for anything online, it should always be an easy step. Like do something to make it easy for a person, which is why I'm not a fan of link trees. because
I hate them.
Because when somebody goes and clicks a link tree, you're literally handing them over like all these decisions to make. And so, you know, it takes what does it take? It just takes a little bit of skill to just decide on the one thing or the one path you want people to go down and just be okay with it.
Yeah.
And you're actually not missing out. You're actually gaining more by keeping it clear.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I have so many people. I go to Linktree and there's 10 links. They're like, yo, my mentorship, my ebook, my course. And I'm like, I'm gone. You know, so that's that. Another thing, another conversion way is stories. So we have this saying in my company. I don't know where it came from. I don't think I came up with this, but I woke up with it one day and I've been running with it. Give value in public, sell in private. Giving value in public, that's your feed. You can give sauce. Your stories, however, is technically private because they go away after 24 hours. So right now, I can make a call to action for anybody to become one of my clients. Cool. Path of least resistance as well, because stories, you got the DM right at the bottom. So you could just send me a message, reply with this using ManyChat on the stories as well. It's light work. And then it goes away after 24 hours. So it doesn't feel like I'm overbearing you every time you see me. I'm giving you a call to action to do something.
Yep.
And it literally works that way. Another thing, people are like, well, I get less views on my story than my feed. Good.
Yeah.
Because usually the people that watch your stories consistently are the buyers.
Yep.
You got a lot of watchers. You got a lot of third-party flies on the wall when they look at your feed posts. They just like it, move on. They're not really a buyer. They don't really feel conviction to buy from you at all. However, them stories, people who religiously watch your stories, they're trying to find more reason to know you and like you.
That's really good. Yeah.
And so if you just give them that, you post things about your family, you do this, you show a little bit of lifestyle, you hop on there. I always like to do this. I'll just hop on stories for like 10 seconds to just give like a piece of something, a piece of value. And then maybe later on that day or week, I'll give a call to action, like a genuine, real strong call to action. Yo, go do this to become a part of this, or go sign up for the free masterclass, whatever it is. I'll go do that. And a lot of those people from the beginning of the week that was hard in my story, because now you can see people who heart your story.
Yeah.
Those are some buyers too, aside from like the friends and family. The people that heart your story, you need to keep an eye on them. And if you want to beat them to it, if they like 3 or more of your stories in a row, whereas you're giving value and it's related to your product or service, you can just send them a DM and start get them on the calendar, send them links, etc.
Yeah, I also think most people who are especially starting out, like ManyChat's great, but like you could probably not use ManyChat.
Do it yourself.
Do the same thing, like comment the word, reply to this story, and just have the conversation. Like I actually think if you're not willing to even do that, then you're jumping the gun. And even now, even to this day, I open up my YouTube app, I open up Instagram, and I'm in the comments, you know, like I actually care to actually go back and forth. And I think especially when you grow, when you have a larger audience and you're somebody who is like replying to people's comments, it speaks volumes. I feel like we all had a moment where we met somebody we thought was really cool, and their reaction determined everything about them leading up to that point. Whether they were friendly or they, you know, gave you a bad taste, you discounted everything they did simply because of their response to a thank you, or hey, I love you, hey, or can we take a photo, whatever that was. I think we all have that story.
Yeah.
And when we're talking brand, this is brand, like
literally.
Yeah, what people feel about your content.
I'll even encourage people with bigger brands as well. 2 days out the month, cut off all of your ManyChat automations and do it yourself. Like have them reply, but you do it, or you and your team do it. And people will feel the difference, because you can make ManyChat sound like you, but people know when it is versus when it isn't.
Yeah.
And that way, people are now, they feel more convicted to, next time you say do that thing, yo, I just talked to Sally Sue in her DMs. I don't know where Sally Sue keeps coming from, but I just talked to
shout out to Sally Sue.
Yeah, shout out. But I just talked to her in her DMs, and it was actually her. Yeah, I'm gonna take this action, and even if it is or isn't her, I feel more connected to take this action more than ever.
Yeah, there was one. There was a YouTube video I released that was like just one I wanted to get off my chest, and it was a conversation I had with a student, and it didn't perform that well, and I'm always okay when things don't perform well, because I'm like, next week we're gonna get another at bat. But I just told my stories. Hey guys, I uploaded a podcast that was very meaningful for me to share with you, and it didn't perform that well. But if you're somebody who loves the Lord and you're in business, reply the word pod and I'll send you over that episode. And I didn't have the mini chat turned on. I forgot I didn't. And so people did it, and I realized like, oh, they didn't. So I just grabbed the YouTube link and I pasted it. And then I did a voice memo. Hey, Jaden, I just wanted to say thanks for even like considering. And I actually want to know what you think about this episode. Let me know like after you watch it or listen to it. I appreciate you. And I did that for a lot of people, like maybe 30 people. And like to me, that's not work. Like to me, it's not like I'm a creator, I'm an entrepreneur, and the goal is touching. This sounds weird. The goal is touching more people. Like the goal is getting in touch with more people. Rip. But yeah, I mean, I just go back to, and it breaks the noise, or it breaks the experience on social media, or in a world everyone is posting and ghosting, that when you get somebody who you admire to like have a conversation with you or answer a question, like I love it. I love it when people are like, hey, Omar or Omar's team, I don't know if you'll see this. I'm like, thank you so much. By the way, this is me.
Yeah.
You know? And but yeah, I think that's really good. Just to, it's just there's like good practice like in doing stuff like that, just actually creating those connections with people. And every viewer is a person. Yeah.
Oh, a lot of the times people want a big audience, forgetting that they're people and not numbers.
Yeah.
Like, yo, I want 10,000 followers, but I'm like, yo, if you get 20 DMs tonight, are you actually going to reply to any of them?
Right.
And they're like, oh, maybe I'll have to find the time. No, like you want this audience, you have to be able to do the things that come with it.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, I'm like, yo, send me a DM. Like I'll actually reply sometimes. It may be me or my team, but if it's me, I'll let you know. People all the time, they're like, yo, is this actually Jaden? They're like, send proof. So like, I will send them a picture of me eating, and it works. People love it. And then again, I like to go back to money, because we're all entrepreneurs. So it's like, yo, bills gotta be paid. And then sometimes those are the people where I'll send a picture of me eating, or I'll send a voice message, and that like they'll book a call. Like, yo, oh, okay, this is real. Boom. And it just connection.
Yep. Which is why I love Instagram. I honestly, like, I say like YouTube really builds brand and trust because of the time spent. But the DMs on Instagram it's like email. It's like email without having to refresh. Yeah. Like it's just, you're literally able to go back and forth with somebody, and it's powerful. Like there's literally a guy who literally his thing is like the stewardship coach. And I've been seeing he's kind of just blown up. He's a pastor who, like in under a year has 100,000 followers, and he shoots everything in like a stationary shot, like a very podcast style thing. And he's so clear the way he delivers his information. And I just DM'd him. I was like, dude, I love your stuff. One of these days, I'd love to have you on the podcast. Fire. And he said, yo, Omar, I've been watching your stuff for over a year, which that's like, it's the best. Yeah. The stewardship coach. I'm shouting you out, bro. What is it? It's funny because it's the stewardship coach, but your name is Lee.
Shout out Lee.
Yeah, Pastor Lee, bro. Just want to say what's up, man. Excited to have you on the pod one of these days. But I just DM him, and then he's like, here's my number, which is cool that like how connections can happen that quick. I love your content. DM, hey, here's my number.
Right. Now, future, whatever that is, doesn't matter. Partnership, right? Just podcast episode. That's so good. Instagram. And
I'm honored because you follow 254 people, and I'm one of them.
Fire. Shout out Lee.
Anyway.
Man.
Sweet, man. This has been really good. If somebody is doing everything you said and they gave it 90 days and they're stuck at 200 followers still, what's the move?
If they've done everything I said and after they've done what I said, they're still stuck at 200 followers?
Yeah.
Not possible.
You don't think that's possible?
I don't think it's possible. The only how that's possible is if in the past you've bought followers
Okay.
And Instagram has restricted you because you bought followers.
Okay.
But if you've created pieces of content that is genuinely unique, that has your message, Instagram is an app where it will connect you with the ideal person.
Yep.
And so if you literally do that for the next 90 days, there's no possible way that, unless you're just banned or, shadow banned, whatever it is, if you genuinely do that, you will grow. I'm talking grow the bank account, you will grow the followers, engagement, you will see it. Like I have not seen it yet. If somebody was to come to me with 200 followers and after 60 days, 90 days, 120 days, I genuinely believe, and that could just be me being cocky,
sure.
But like genuinely, I don't think so.
Okay, cool. Okay. And then as far as like going broad or going niche, what's your philosophy on that?
My philosophy is niche then broad. Niche to make the money connect with the audience, to get footing. Broad to have your brand go bigger. That's where I am with that. And for anybody that combats me, ask Hormozy. He only made gym launch videos for X amount of time, and now he makes business-wide videos. So that's my philosophy.
Good. Dude, I appreciate it. How can people connect with you? And I will link everything up below, but
People can connect with me on Instagram at I am Jaden LY. On YouTube, I'm gonna have Omar help me because I'm trying to take it serious this year.
Yeah.
On YouTube at Jaden Lamar. And on TikTok, which I don't really put too much effort into, at I am Jaden LY.
Good stuff, bro. I appreciate you. Thanks for coming back to Vegas. And when we're in H-Town, we'll reconnect.
Oh, absolutely. Have to. If you come to my city and don't let me know, I'd feel highly offended.
Just don't stay offended.
I'll try to.
Cool.